Why is stretching good for us? Well, stretching is really good for us. It keeps the muscles a little supple, but it's really good for increasing circulation to the joints. But you always want to make sure when you do stretch that your body's warmed up, those muscles are actually heated up, because we don't want to pull any muscles, or we don't want to cause any micro tears in ligaments and tendons in your body. But you also have to keep in mind that your flexibility that most people work on when we think about stretching is genetic disposition. So remember, you have genetic thresholds. We have these origins and insertions of muscles and different bone lakes and etc. And Golgi tendon organelles that are embedded in ligaments and tendons and muscles. So the combination of all this wonderful structures really determine how flexible you are. And you can overdo it and hurt yourself pretty quick. Or you can give yourself a false sense of security, because once your body goes back to its normal factors, it's going to go back to its normal stretching ability, even within a day, even within an hour. So again, stretching is good. You want to make sure you stretch when the muscles are warmed up, but you only really want to stretch them to stretch out the muscles themselves and the ligaments and tendons and prepare the body for some form of work. And that's typically why most people will stretch. Some people will stretch if they're coming through an injury. It's a way of getting that muscle to metabolize. It's a way to stop the inflammation in a muscle. And you always want to make sure you have a very active stretch. You're better off that way with stretching. You know, we've had this for years, and it's still pretty prevalent today. A lot of people will do a stretching as an application of warming up. Well, we have these things called actin and myosin filaments, a little Z disc between these muscle fibers. You need to make sure those things are warmed up and ready to go, that these little cross bridges and protein activations get warmed up and take place. If we don't, and we get into an exercise stretching protocol and your muscles are cold, you have a high ability to hurt yourself. And if you push it, you have a high ability of creating damage in ligaments and tendons around a joint. And if you have a general disposition to be extremely tight, you have a great ability of literally pulling the ligaments and tendons away from bones. So always want to make sure you warm up, then you do your stretching. You can do your stretching as a cool down after any form of exercise, working out, sprinting, yoga, whatever it might be. That's a really good way of cooling your body down and kind of getting it nice and comfortable. But to go out there and stretch before you warm up, you have to be very, very careful. And I would advise you to do your research before you do that. A good warm-up is an overall body warm-up. You will not believe this, marching in place is a phenomenal way of warming up. Swing those arms, lift up at those hips, do that for 3 to 5 minutes. You will not believe how warm your body gets really quick, right? Because it requires every single major muscle mover in your body to be activated at one time. So again, it works on our health. It works on our cardiovascular system. It works on our respiratory system, right? It works on our muscles. It works on our ligaments and tendons. It helps drop inflammation. It does all these wonderful things. That's why we need to get up and we need to move. And we need to use that upper body just as much as we're using that lower body when we're getting these things done. I'm telling you guys, the information's been there forever. Go back to the foundations. Go back to living well, being well, and go back to work. There's no free rides here, I'm telling you.